Hey everybody, welcome to the Lioness Den. We are so happy that you chose to join us today. Look, today's going to be a lot of fun. So I encourage you to sit back, get your coffee, get your tea, whatever snack you're going to have, because today we are here with the Keene Cruz-Conner Ross family. Lot to say, but that's where we are. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the Lioness Den. Hey everybody, look, we are back, and so we're going to start by introducing or having everyone introduce themselves. So as we start, look, there we go, we changed cameras. We're going to start with Deana Cruz-Conner, who is not a stranger to us. Would you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deana Cruz-Conner. This is my mom and my daughter. I'm happy to be here. Happy Mother's Day to those of you who it applies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Miss Annette?
Oh, it's my turn. Good morning. I'm Annette Keene, and I'm the mother of Deana and the grandmother of Jordan.
Look at that. Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan, and I am the daughter and granddaughter of Deana and Annette. Hello.
Can I have a question? So guys, this is about to be, as you can see, we're starting off with a very light environment today. And that's how we plan the whole hour to go. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about 3 generations in one room. This is an amazing feat. You don't have it in many families, so this is a really, really special event today. And so, as we start with the 3 generations, the question is, how does it feel to actually have 3 generations? And you don't have little people. You are 3 generations grown people. Adults, yeah. How does it feel to have 3 adult generation of, I would say, Keene women, because Keene is the root of all of this. So how does it feel to have 3 generations of Keene women?
Well, sometimes it can be trying, but most times it's nice. I mean, we get along pretty much all the time. There are sometimes, of course, all of us being strong women. Sometimes there's little bumps, but we work it out.
Okay. At one point, we had 5 generations.
Yeah.
We were very blessed, and that is unheard of. Right. So we had my great Aunt Blanche,
my great,
and then my grandmother, who was my mom's mother. Up until Jordan was almost high school graduate, we had 5. So it was awesome. It was awesome just to have all of that to talk back on and to look back on, reflect on. Lots of stories.
It has to be an amazing Mother's Day thing to be able to just have Mother's Day for generations. When you think about it, because a lot of us, like me, Mother's Day for me, I'm the mother. That's where we start. But you have Mother's Day, and you've had Mother's Day where you could go Mother's Day, grandmother, mother, aunt, all of those generations. So for us who don't get a chance to experience that, could you tell us what it's like to have the generations of Mother's Day? Because like Miss Annette used to buy Mother's Day for her mother, and you and Jordan bought Mother's Day for her mother, and then you all would buy gifts for Aunt Blanche.
Yeah.
So that's like an amazing thing. What is it like to have Mother's Day like that?
We still do, and we still remember to order flowers. Now we order memorial flowers through Mom's church every year.
Right.
And Mom will take them
in memory of
Aunt Blanche and Grandma. And then we'll plant them in the yard. So every year they're out front and they bloom again. you know, so that we can
nice.
keep that going. And we're perennial, so they'll keep coming back. So
Every year.
it's such a blessing to do that. And then because we like
The
each
best
other.
thing about it is it was Aunt Blanche's ministry in church.
Right.
She was in charge of the flower ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So she would order every holiday. We would order flowers to honor and to memorialize those who have gone on. And after she passed, our church just continued.
Yep.
So we continue, and now we order those flowers and plant them every year.
Especially like being the youngest current like generation and not yet a mother, it is kind of like exciting for when that journey does begin and like when that time does come for me, because then it'll be like a trifecta, like mother, shuffling on down. So it's definitely something to look forward to, especially since we're all like here and we see each other and we're making more of an effort in these like latter years to actually like build and have that camaraderie and that time to like hang out together and sit around the table and just like, you know, slow down for a minute. So that has definitely been something that's been exciting to see as the youngest generation, and the way that we're like learning from each other as the world changes. For me, how that affects it's not always a trickle down, but sometimes it's a building up.
Yes.
Because like the lessons that I'm learning and the way that the world is changing for me affect how like my mom may move in some spaces, how Nana may move in some spaces, based on what I'm learning from this current day. So, you know, the knowledge that Nana has trickles down, but also the knowledge that I have can be passed up as well, just because the world is changing so much now.
Yeah.
When you say learning, I never wanted to get my fingers dirty. Never. I never did anything with flowers.
No.
My mother had a green thumb. Aunt Blanche did too. So I never wanted to touch flowers. But now, every year, I look forward to doing those flowers. Doing Easter and grab Deana.
Yes.
Grab
She-
Deana.
She hoodwinks me.
Grab Deana.
Yeah.
She hoodwinks me. She waits
Yeah.
until one of the things that we do traditionally, and it's just something that we do usually on Saturday or on Sunday. If I'm not doing anything else or what have you, my priority is to come over and see my mom and spend time with Mom and Joe. But what I do is, she'll wait until a Sunday after I'm all dressed up and cute, and she'll say, "Deana, can you come over and help me with the garden? Don't you wanna?" Now I'm here. I don't have a change of clothes. Don't you want to come out and help me? No,
Just
but I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
She's exercising her parental
That's
rights.
right. That's
All
right.
the time. All the time.
Exercising her
And
parental
we
rights.
plant
all
those
the
plants out there.
It's voluntold is how.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
It's
That's exactly what it is.
voluntold to help.
That's
That's
exactly
right.
what it is.
But it's amazing that it works through the generations, because I'm sure Jordan gets some voluntold too.
Oh, yeah.
Like today.
Yeah.
Today is a voluntold?
Today is a voluntold, everyone. It is.
Like
I am
today.
very much not a front man.
We
So,
all,
you know, this
we
is-
all have done that.
This is a new experience.
This
We're
is
here.
a-
We're here having it, you know.
Voluntold.
That's
We're doing
right.
it.
You look beautiful, by the
Thank
way.
you kindly.
Voluntold can be a good
Genetics.
place.
It can. It can be a place of growth, you know.
There you go.
Discomfort.
Look, it's the way you look at it. It's the way you
Stretch
look
on
at it.
out. Amen.
And all that know me know that I'm not a camera person.
No,
so-
not at all. That's why you're in the middle.
But you're doing a great job.
Isn't
You're doing a great job.
Isn't she?
We love
She's
to see
speaking
it.
freely.
And I was voluntold by my daughter.
Amen.
See, the middle was volunteering.
I'm starting to feel like this whole broadcast is a voluntold broadcast.
It
Yes,
is.
guys.
But you know, we're here.
Yeah.
And it's my
I
day weekend.
flexed my muscle and used my authority.
Look at you. Proud of you.
And we're family.
So we're gonna pivot a little here. We're gonna pivot from the voluntold, and let's move into Jordan. What is your favorite memory of your mother and your grandmother?
Honestly, my favorite one is probably a more recent one. For the first time, like we went and traveled together, like outside of the state. So we went up to see my best friend in Detroit, and we saw some family in Cincinnati while we were up there. And it was like the first time that we took a trip like together. Like me and my mom take trips together. We go see concerts and things like that. Me, mom, and pop, we go and we'll travel up to Cincy to see family. But usually, like Nana, back in the day, she was so busy doing her dance thing and traveling all over the place. But it was fun for the first time for all three of us to be traveling together. Like we drove up there, so we were in the car for 6 to 8 hours, and we were just driving, across, getting to where we were going. And it's a beautiful memory because for once, we were outside of our regular spaces together. So it was interesting to see just being in another place, but still being together, but how we were it was a different freedom from being home together as opposed to being out together. So that was really a good memory for me.
Nobody died.
And nobody died.
And we all loved each other.
That's a great accomplishment.
And we want to do it again. It was fun.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed each other.
And we got to meet some other family while we were out there and connect with some of them. So it was really not just a building or bonding experience for us, but also for our more extended kind of family that, we don't see super often.
That is really, really good. That's a good one. So I have the same question for you, Deana.
Because we're trickling.
Since that was kind of where I was going, I'm gonna say, okay, so we all are creative people. Jordan is the stage manager for Art Centric. I do costuming for several theater companies, and that is a recent blessing for me. And one of the amazing things for me is to always know that my family is going to support. To know that they're going to be there. They always come to our shows. We always have a family night somewhere during the run of the shows that I costume. And to look out, to be able to sit and with my mom and my daughter, my husband, and our cousin, and whoever else we invite, because it could be a number of people. But to always know that they have my support and that they have my back and that they are enjoying and interested in what I'm doing is an amazing thing. So that's one of the things that I absolutely adore. Recently I did the wedding singer for Silhouette Stages in Columbia, and just to be able to sit and enjoy and laugh and see them go ooh and get excited over my work was amazing. So I really, really, really love that, and that's a great memory for me.
She did a great job, y'all.
Thank you.
She did. That's good. Proud.
I didn't pay her for that though. That was free.
She got paid later. Don't worry about it. She got a bill. Mr. That what is your favorite memory?
I have so many, but one of the most recent ones was Jordan was in the kitchen cooking, and she was making some kind of beef, and then she called Deana and said, Ma, can you help me fix this? And Deana was in there cutting up the cabbage or something.
Oh.
And then they looked at me and said, this would be good if we had some gravy.
Yes.
Deana, can you help us with the gravy? So
Yes.
it ended up being the three of us in the kitchen, all cooking together, this one little meal that Jordan started. And it was so funny because I said, I'm supposed to be sitting here relaxing, and they cooking for me. However, we all ended up in the kitchen together. So that was a good
Yeah,
moment.
that was a good one. And that was a good meal. It turned out
It
real
was
good.
excellent.
Okay,
That
come
roast
on.
beef was
It turned out
delicious.
real good.
The cabbage was
Yummy.
delicious.
Yeah.
I still
Everything was
think
good.
Jordan makes the best cabbage.
Yeah, she does.
Thank
She
you.
does.
I be cooking.
There
We gotta eat.
So-
So we gotta cook.
you go.
So that's the most recent
That
one,
was a
I
good
think.
one.
Yeah.
So my next question is for you, Miss Annette. As the head mom in the group, how does it feel to see your babies all grown up?
I have my very proud moments. Both of them, I love them both so much. Let me stop.
Oh, don't do it.
Tiny tears.
Yes.
Don't do it, TT.
They, both of them are so talented, and I'm just so proud of both of them for all that they've done. Really, stop. I'm not gonna do this.
I think we have tears, guys. Just hold on a second. I think we have tears. I think we have tears today. We have tears.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
I'm not
okay.
gonna, no. You know, they call me Tiny too because I
Yeah.
cry at everything.
Yes.
A drop of a hat, I cry. But I'm just so proud of both of them. You know, they're both very accomplished ladies, and I'm proud of them. You're welcome.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. So sweet.
Yeah.
As the now matriarch of
Okay,
this
now I can
family.
do this.
Okay.
Get you a little
You got it,
pat, pat,
got it. You need a moment?
No. I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. We'll give you a moment now.
Okay, let me swallow.
Got the next question for you.
Okay, for me
Yeah.
again.
You on a roll.
As
Okay.
the matriarch, now the matriarch, because we know Miss Juanita was here before. She was one of my very favorite people.
Yes.
I enjoyed watching what is that? The gangster movies with her.
Yes.
Black and white gangster movies. That was like the
Yeah.
thing. You sit there and she would make a whole Saturday of it. But now you are the matriarch. And as the matriarch
Mm-hmm.
of this family, what do you think is the greatest lesson that you have taught over the years to your children?
I think the greatest lesson is to not procrastinate. To when you have problems, you got to look at it head on. And if you can't handle it yourself, that's what family is for. So it's very important. You know, you can't keep things to yourselves. You have to talk to your family.
Yep.
Because everything can't be solved alone.
Very true.
And nobody is supposed to live alone. And nobody is supposed to handle everything by themselves. So that's what family is for. You know, you have to depend on each other. So that's the most important thing, you know. Talk, communicate. Do not hold things in. And don't wait till the last minute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Don't wait till the last minute.
Don't wait till the
Don't
last
wait
minute.
till the last minute. She has such a great expression on her face, ladies, that I have to ask this question. So with this great lesson that she has shared with you guys, and I see how much you agree, how has this lesson affected how you move in your life? Deana, you can go first. Julie, you can think about it.
Thank you.
So, I recently had some health issues. I was on crutches and I had a whole knee debacle. And in the middle of that, initially I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna walk it off," you know. The man in my big fat Greek wedding said, "Put some Windex on it." So that's what I felt. I was like, "It's gonna be all right." A few days later, it was not all right. So I went to the doctor. I came back with a brace and a crutch. 3 weeks later, they said, "Oh, it should be fine." It was not. So I went to the orthopedist and got some additional news. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So my first thought was, yeah, we need to talk. I have to sit down with my family and talk about what's going to happen and what the options could be, what worst case scenario would be, you know. Because I'm used to being the middle person. I'm used to, let me help you and let me help you and let me do this and not worrying about me. So now it's kind of switched to where I have to worry about me and I have to be the one that's coming to everybody going, "Hey, I need y'all."
That's right. Let independence go. You need family. You need family.
Yeah. So it's been a real life lesson for me the last few weeks, last month or so, to just be able to sit and talk with my family about everything that's going on and what my plans are and what my research is and what I'm going to do going forward, and get their opinions and take all that in consideration. The best thing is that my family was like, we support you whatever your decision is, and we will support you with whatever your decision is. So just me getting over the shift of position, because I'm used to being the support for everybody. But this time I needed the support.
Used to being the boss, that's how they got volunteered.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
It makes sense.
I got it from my mama.
Got it from your mama taught you how to be the boss, to volunteer everybody.
Yes, and now I volunteer her.
She thinks roles have been reversed, but not.
Not. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's like
Not yet, anyway.
it's like the 3-card Monty. You know, you gotta follow the queen.
Okay.
So sometimes it's over here and sometimes it's over there, but a lot of times
I'm not even going to touch on that. I'm going to just go here to Jordan. Jordan,
My
what?
card is the Ace of Spades.
You're going
Get into it.
So, for Jordan, how has this lesson that Miss Annette has taught to you guys affected you?
I would say personally on the aspect of like communication, because I'm big about communication just as a person. I'm big about like just, you know, laying out the information and letting people make their choice about whatever it is in that regard. Making sure that people are well enough informed that they can be an active participant in the things that are going on. So I'm big on communication, and I really love when we have the opportunities to kind of just like share stories, share knowledge, because like I've been learning recently that Nana is like was so creative throughout her life. Like she sewed dresses and she drew like full out cartoons. Like she wrote poetry. Like there were so many things that I'm like the creative instinct, I guess, in us, you know, generated from somewhere higher up that I can say I didn't even know about. So like she had found some random like scrapbooking stuff up under her bed, like crafts and stuff she had worked on, poems she had written, and I was like, okay, so all this creative energy comes from somewhere. So just having that knowledge about your like your legacy and your lineage, especially being like Black in America, not to be preachy, but you know, a lot of our history is lost in our transference to this nation. So it's a lot that we don't know about our origins or who we're connected to. So what we have created here in the US, the culture that we have created is so important, and knowing your family culture is so important, and like, you know, creating who you are, building who you are so that you don't have to feel like an island. You don't have to feel like you don't really understand your place in the world, because if you understand your place in your family and what you have like within you, then you can move through the world differently. So I'm just really grateful for the knowledge and the transference of knowledge that I've had from these ladies, and especially from Nana's lesson as well, because it is really helpful to just know what's going on in your family, not just, you know, the day-to-day things, but even like past generations as far as like health things.
Yeah,
because there's some stuff that if you know that your family has had a history of X, Y, and Z, then later on in life you can make better choices so that you can be kind of proactive about those kinds of things. So I just think knowledge and communication is super important, and I try to make sure that I continue that in myself and, you know, throughout my future generations.
Yes.
Okay. Go generation.
Go. Generations, yes.
Go.
So, with that being said, Miss Annette, what creative things have you done in the past?
Talk about
And because a lot of times we dwell on what we've done, what is your plan for the future?
Talk about it.
Good. And if you don't mind me saying this one thing, do you mind me talking about your age?
No.
So, guys, I want to say something to you. You could guess how old she is, but I'm telling you that you would make a mistake.
Like Family Feud.
Okay? You would lose on it because Miss Annette has already reached her 70. That's how I'm going to put that. She's already reached at least that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
And so she does not look like she has reached her 70.
Amen.
So
God is good.
with that, I say, with what you've done, what does the future hold?
Oh, I am just so undecided. You know, I used to sew all the time. I made every prom dress that Deana wore.
Oh, wow.
Ring day dresses, and
yes.
I used to love to sew. My great my great aunt's cousin, when I was 6 years old, my grandmother's cousin. When I was 6 years old, she sat me down and taught me how to crochet. So I started doing dollies. You know, most of you probably don't know what those are. The dollies that go on the back of the chair.
On the table.
And on the table, we used to start then
Doilies. Okay.
doilies.
Yes. So.
The things that you put your lamp on, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a
Honestly,
doily.
don't remember. The little things that you go to eat around the house is on the table.
Yeah.
That's what she's
And
talking about.
then we did scarves and things like that. So I've crocheted since I was 6, and I love it, and I still do it to this day.
She is a beast.
I taught my daughter, I taught my mom when my mom got sick and she needed something to do. I taught her, and she made everybody blankets and Afghans, but I don't know. I've been active all my life. I had to stay in something. My mother put me in dance class when I was very young, so, and I have a love for dance. So those talents, you know, I just love it. I used to teach dancing, hand dancing, and
She's good. Oh, she's good.
and then
Amazing.
I just love it. We used to do competitions. We used to travel all over the place and just dance and have good fun. But right now I'm kind of stuck with my crochet, and because it's something that I started at an early age, and I just love it. And I make things and give things to people. However, I've been, I guess, told
Yes.
that I should make things and sell them. But
Yes.
you know, there's no price on those kind of things. When you make things,
I'll help you with that. There's always a price.
Okay.
yeah,
There's
but
always
when
a
you
price.
make things, you know, you want to make them, you make them with love and you give things away. And I just don't think at this point that I want to be obligated to make things at someone's beck and call. You know, I want
That's
this, I
valid.
want that, but
That's valid.
That's
yeah, yeah.
We've been trying to get her to do Keene's Creations because the way that she be finishing a whole garment in just a couple days, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, and the quality is lovely.
It's
But
Jordan came to me and
amazing.
said, "Nana, I want some crochet pants."
Yes.
And she showed me a picture, and I said, "Okay."
2 days. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
so,
it's like a full wide leg pants with a top.
That sounds like the
A
request.
couple of
That sounded like a
times.
request.
Didn't it?
I had like a request.
I told her son his
Yeah.
coat. I said, "Oh, I want one." A week. Here you go. It's
It
a
may have
full length
taken-
coat with a hood and
it took a couple of weeks.
amazing.
But,
She
yeah.
come down and she be like, "Put this on." And
Right.
It's the thing that she asked for,
Right.
and it's like, ah.
Right, right.
So the question is, we're gonna come back to the question.
The question is, what am I going to do?
That was the question. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
I don't know yet. I just don't know about making things for.
Well, now she's dancing. She's still
Yeah.
dancing.
Oh yeah, I'm dancing. I'm
She
back to line
she
dancing.
retired on December 31st after 50 years with the government.
Woo! Yay to you.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
January,
Yes,
I went back to dance class. So I'm doing line dance classes.
like a job, 5 days a week.
5 days a week now.
Sometimes 2 classes a day.
And and you know the pandemic kind of it stopped everybody from doing anything. So after the pandemic, you know, I said, okay, I have a couple of unwanted pounds, so let me find a way to work these off. So I walked around the track. I did my 2 miles a couple of times a week, and then I said, this is not getting it. So I mean, it's nice to walk around, and I praise God that I'm able to walk around.
Yes.
However, that wasn't getting it, so I went back to line dance in January. So from that one class on Tuesday, I have 5 days of line dance,
Yay.
and I'm loving it. I'm meeting old friends again, you know, and meeting a lot of new friends.
And are you teaching
Yeah.
again?
No, not teaching.
Yeah.
They're trying to get her.
No, not teaching.
Yeah.
These dances nowadays are a little challenging. So
Not yet. Okay.
She feels like she has to catch up for the 3 years of the pandemic
whew.
just to get herself together.
Got you.
So yeah.
Yeah, so line dancing and crocheting is what I'm doing now.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna take us now. You need tissues before I start asking these questions because I want to talk about me mom a little bit and Aunt Blanche because I did get to know both of them.
Yes.
And so, ladies, I really would like you to talk about your favorite memories from the both of them because a lot of us have lost our moms, and we have memories. I mean, my mom, we lost her before my daughter was born, 2 years before my daughter was born. My grandmother, we lost her in 2018. And last week, I'm not going to go into my family because we talked last week. Y'all saw all of my siblings on here showing off last Saturday. So this is their chance to go and talk about their family. But for us who have lost our family, we only reminisce. And I just want to know, what are you guys, because you have family that have gone to with me mom, Miss Juanita, that was her name, and Aunt Blanche. Your favorite memories from them, and even something that they shared with you that you will carry the rest of your life.
I mean, for me, like with me, my memory is me and my cousin Brandon. He's like our other limb. My cousin Brandon.
Absolutely.
He and I, like whenever we would go to me mom's house, there were these two little baseball caps, plastic baseball caps that were probably about like this big, and it was always gummy worms, Haribo, however you want to say it. It was always gummy worms and gummy bears in the refrigerator, in the little slide-out drawer at the bottom for me and Brandon. And we would go whenever we came over. They would get that baseball cup bowl out of the cabinet and fill it with gummy worms and gummy bears. And we would sit at the table and we would eat them. And me mom would be at the table with her paper, or with her activity, and we would just be sitting there having a good time snacking and just like chilling. And I just remember we always sat in the same seats. We always had the same cup. There were two cups, one for Brandon, one for me.
One red, one blue.
There it is. And it's just a fun memory to me because, of course, I was young a lot of like my time with me mom. So it's not a lot of like grown, locked in memories that I can pull from. But those are significant things that always warm my heart to remember. Like, she always made sure that we had that little snack in there. She always had her Pepsi in there. I remember in the fridge when you open it, that layout in there. But those are like, that one is always like a sweet spot for me with me mom, because it's one of the ones that's really precious outside of like sitting on the couch with her and watching TV shows. So, being in the house and remembering, like, I always sat across from the window, and the window had the plastic on it to keep the breeze from coming in. Just those like small things, more sensory kind of memories, kind of experience-based memories that come back to me when I think of her. Just like her sweetness, the way she smelled. I know that's probably kind of sound kind of strange, but that Jergens cherry almond. It always just reminds me of her little soft hands. She had the prettiest little dainty lady hands. Yes, I loved it. Those are the kind of memories that come back to me for me mom. Just very sensory, very like kind of almost tangible in a way.
I think it's very much the same for me. When I think about her, it's a whole experience. I see her, I smell her, I remember the things that she was doing in the house. We would just spend days just sitting. And one of her favorite things, she would get up in the morning, and she still had her little cigarette. She would have her cigarette and her coffee, and I would have a cup of tea and just sit. And we would just talk. My grandmother always kept a book. She kept a book of football scores.
Loved football.
Because she loved football, and she would always have her football scores. She would watch sports all the time. She was avid with crossword puzzles. Oh my gosh, on Sundays we would sit and we would do crossword puzzles together. It was always wonderful. So it's memories. We made memories because we communicated. We made memories because we shared time and shared space. I can remember her going outside. My grandmother used to like to make her hair blonde. and she would put the color on her hair and go outside and hang clothes on the line so that the sun would bleach her hair just the right shade of blonde. And I was always afraid that she was going to overdo it, but she would come back and it would be perfect. I can remember her experimenting in the kitchen and getting new things and trying to getting a rotisserie oven and new recipes and all kinds of stuff. Just always remember the house being filled with love.
Yeah.
And so much so that when I went away to school, and my friends went away to school, they would come back in town and come to my grandmother's house. And they would come and check on me, Mom. Everybody loved her. They would come back and check on her, come back and see how she was doing. It was the meeting place, you know. And so when she passed away, we had a lot of people come back in town to come and see her, to come in and pay their respects because they loved her. She was just genuinely a loving person. But I learned this from her. She hug you with one hand and beat you with the other. And I say that all the time because that's who she was. She couldn't say she loved you and not correct you. She couldn't say she loved you and not chastise you, you know. But she would do both, and she always had a good balance with it, always.
I have so many memories. I think one of my favorite was when she went with me to the mother-daughter banquet at the rec center. And I was just so proud when she came walking in there. She had her little hat on. My mother used to dress. She would dress. My mother loved clothes. She loved shoes especially. I think that's where I get my...
I wonder why.
That's where I get my love for shoes. I buy shoes when I buy nothing else. And
She still got a closet?
it's a whole
building
lot
upstairs.
of
I was gonna say, I remember when I first
love-
met you like a whole room.
She has a
Of
shoe room.
shoes.
She has a shoe room.
Yeah, and I just love shoes. And my mother was such a neat freak. She was just so neat. She was so clean. Everything was, you could eat off her floors.
Yes.
And I had so many memories. But that when she came to the mother-daughter banquet at Madison Square Recreation Center, number 26.
Number 26.
Yes,
I
number
went there.
26.
I went there.
And yeah, and that's no longer there.
I
They
know,
tore
it's
it
so
down.
terrible they tore it down.
Yeah, but when we went to that thing, and I asked her, I said, they had different contests. And I said, did you sign up for the contest? She said, no, I didn't. I said, Mommy, we would have won. We would have won the tallest mother and daughter couple, you know, because she said, I didn't sign it. I said, I wish you had. But anyway, we had such a good time. She sat there and everybody was like, whose mother is that? My mother was sharp that day. She had her little dress on that was fitting, her little pumps, and that hat.
Yes, Grandma.
I said, she looked like she was in England with the little.
I love it. Go ahead, Mama.
Mommy used to dress. She loved fashion. I have memories of when I would take her shopping sometimes, and I said, pick out what you want. And we would have the best times, you know, going shopping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to Lexington Market
Mhm.
once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think she invented the Swiffer. You talk about her being neat.
Oh,
I think
man.
she did. Years ago, my mother, before there was a Swiffer,
Mm-hmm.
years ago, my mother would take a towel.
White washcloths.
Yeah, she would take a towel or a white washcloth and put on her mop, like the dust mops, because she said that the dust mop left too much dust for her. So she would put that on the mop, pin it to it, and dust the floors so that she would get most of the dust up. She said that method worked better than a regular
Her
mop.
floors would sparkle. When my
Yeah.
mother said you could eat off of them, you really
could.
She
She kept a clean house. My mother was, Yeah, she was a neat freak. She didn't like dust. She said, "Oh no, I can't have those dust bunnies in here." And when Jordan was born, for a while she was watching Jordan. And she used to clean that house every day. She said, "I can't have those dust bunnies on the floor with my baby crawling around." That was before Jordan was able to walk. But yeah, I have good memories.
I still want to know, was it your idea or her idea to snatch Jordan that day and get her ears pierced?
She sound like she got
She tight
she
like
got
that
art.
one. Yeah, she kind of tight on that.
29 years.
We both went, because Jordan, when Jordan was born, Jordan didn't have a lot of hair.
Oh Lord.
And as a baby, you know, people used to say, "Oh, he's cute." I said, "This is a girl." "Oh, she's so cute." I said, "Thank you." So my mother and I decided this one day.
When I was in
Yeah,
work.
that's a good memory. Deana was at work and I was off from work. So I took Jordan to my mother's and we were sitting there looking at television like we normally did. And I said, "You know what? Let's get her ears pierced." My mother said, she said, "Yeah." She said, "That'd be a good thing. Let's get her ears pierced." I said, "She'd be so cute with her little earrings."
Yeah.
So we got in my car and we went to the shop and took Jordan. And the lady said she has to be at least 6 months old in order to get her ears pierced. "Is she 6 months?" I said, "Yes." She wasn't. She wasn't. I said, "Yes, she is. Let me sign." So I signed for it and got her little ears pierced. And she just, one little yap, and that was it.
She was a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And I said, "Oh, she's so pretty. Look at her." And I would put her little headbands on with her little earrings. My mother and I, we snuck her around and got her ears pierced. And when Deana came home from work that day,
I was big mad.
She's still real.
I was big mad.
She's still be hot.
It's just the way that she said it. And when Deana came home from work that day, like her voice just goes down. She was all happy and it came right on down.
She was devious.
She came home from work.
It's like real ministry.
She was.
Oh my gosh.
We stole the baby.
Look,
and
they
we
stole
took
the
her
baby.
and got her ears
They
pierced.
stole the baby. They lied about her age.
yeah,
I
she
was
was
a
only,
victim.
only a month shy of 6 months.
But we made her very cute. We
But-
added to her
okay.
cuteness with the earring.
With her earrings and her headbands
You know?
with the little
Yes.
flowers. Nobody got her mixed up as a boy.
Ever again.
Never. They knew she was a little girl.
So she
Yeah, so my mother and I,
In case there was any
we did
confusion.
that. My
She is
mother
a
and
girl.
I did that. We did that. That's one of our good memories too.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, we did that.
Ladies, you would not believe it, but we're about 45 minutes in already.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It happens fast every time we come on the lines then. If you are with us often, you know that it happens fast. But before we end, because we try not to stay on longer than an hour, before we end, we have a grandma, a mom, and not you. And so, but ladies, for real, before we close, we have some young mothers, some old mothers. We have mothers who are watching us, and I like to always give each person a chance to share something inspirational with mothers or with our audience. Let's put it that way, because it may be fathers who need the information that we're sharing today. And so, before we leave, if you guys could just each of you give an inspiration. Jordan, you don't have to talk about mothering. As a matter of fact, you can go first.
Okay,
Just an
thank
inspirational message. But ladies, if you would give a message directly to the mothers, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes,
So,
ladies.
Jay, just your inspirational message.
So inspirational message. I mean, I am going to stay on theme with mothers because it is, Mother's Day weekend. Oh my geez. But yeah, so something that I find to be really pivotal as a daughter, in my relationship with my mother, just transparency. Like, talk to your children. Talk to them like people that they are. Like, a lot of times, I think parents forget that your children are in your care, but they are not like for you to dictate their lives. They're not supposed to be another you. It's not an opportunity to vicariously live through them. Like, let them grow and become who they have been ordained and created to be, because the Lord did a lot of work. Like, he was very meticulous about the hairs on their head. He was very meticulous about the fingerprints on our fingers. So just make sure that you give them the opportunity to really be who they were supposed to be, to really help them grow, to cultivate the skills and the wonderful things that they have in themselves, and to, just be a support to them. Remember that they are human as you are human. You are figuring it out as they are figuring life out. So just continue, keep communication up, share your stories and experiences. Make sure that you're not just giving them the "cause I said so's," because sometimes they need to know that I'm saying don't do this because X, Y, and Z happened and this occurred and this was my result. So I'm just giving you some insight before you go down this path. Just make sure that you're actually respect your children. Apologize to your children. Sometimes you have to humble yourself in that. Submission goes both ways. Your children submit to you as you submit to God, but you have to remember that you also have to sometimes submit and yield your hard edges to your children. And you have to sometimes you have to come back and be humble and be like, you know what, I didn't do that the best way that I could have, but I've learned and I will do it better going forward. So just transparency, respect, love, all of that good stuff. That's my little 2 cents.
I think it was 5.
Oh, come on, 5.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, I know. We don't have to talk now.
No, you
But
did. Go ahead.
She covered it all, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She took everything I was going to say. She said, I'm not a mother, but
Look, I'm
this
not
is
a
how
mother.
to be a mother. Well,
I had a good example, y'all.
well, praise God.
I'm just speaking from a child who had a really, really good relationship with her parent and feels like a good outcome of a successful mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Mother-parent, child-parent relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said it all.
I know.
No, don't say yours too.
I don't think I got nothing.
Oh, don't tell that. Don't tell that.
No, because I was actually going to talk about the importance of apologizing and being transparent. Because, family, like we talked about earlier, family histories, medical history, repeating the same things. You run the risk of your children repeating the same processes, going through the same things if you're not transparent with them. I know, I did some of the things that my mom did, but not in the same way. And I spent a lot of my life feeling like I need to show her that even though I did this, that this doesn't have to be the outcome. That I can do this because I did learn. I made this mistaken judgment or whatever, but I did learn from what you taught me. So I felt like a lot of my life, especially being her only child, I felt like a lot of the times I had to say, okay, I know this. She taught me this. I know how to do this. I know how to, let me show her, which is part of the reason for my independence, because I felt like I need to prove myself. I need to show. I need to, make her proud all the time. And that was big for me. It was very, very big for me. I remember my mother releasing me from that at some point. I don't exactly remember what happened, but at one point she literally came to me and said, "You don't have to be perfect. I love you." And it was like, whew, okay, all right, then I can be human and I can make mistakes and I can.
We all do.
I can come
We
to
all
you,
make mistakes.
and because you don't feel like that in the moment. You feel like you need to run and hide. You feel like you need to hide that hand or that thing or whatever. But but with her, it was, as we walked and journeyed and got older, I didn't feel the need to hide who I was. I just felt the need to say, hey, look, this is the decision I made. It might be right. It might not be. It might fall apart, but this is what I did. And I learned a lot of the way I dealt with you from the way that mom dealt with me. I always say that you all either learn what to do or what not to do. You pick and you find, what works for you.
and you make adjustments to it. We've always had people all your life, especially once you hit around teenager, they always used to say, how can y'all be friends? How can y'all like each other? How can you enjoy each other's company? Well, we always have. Because I feel like at being a mom at 22, I was, we grew up together to a certain degree, and so I was learning who I was and learning how to apply what my mom taught me. And I think one of the biggest things that a mother can do is give yourself some grace.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself some grace, because you're going to mess up. You're going to make wrong decisions. You're going to say the wrong thing. Yes, please go to your child and apologize. Please go to your child and say, maybe I didn't handle that right. Maybe can we talk about this? How do you feel about this? And really take that into consideration. But give yourself grace, because you're not going to do everything right. None of us were created perfect. So if you can give yourself that grace to grow, that grace to learn, that grace to become, even in the process that they're becoming, then you'll see that the relationships will meld, and that, they'll be knit together like you can't even imagine. You won't even have to force it. It'll just happen. And this is one of the greatest relationships that I've ever had, as is this one. They're different. Oh, hush. they're different, but I wouldn't trade them for anything. I'm not crying.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Continue.
Please continue.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay, he was just enjoying,
It was
what you were
beautiful.
saying, right, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks to you.
Miss Annette?
I just want to say that you just need to be patient sometimes. I know it's hard sometimes, but everybody's entitled to their opinion, and even children, sometimes you just have to listen, and you have to be patient. If you're angry, you say things sometimes that are very hurtful. You say things in the heated moment, but you just need to sometimes just stop and kind of reflect on what was said and how it was said. It's not so much what is being said, but it's the way it's being said. So we just need to be patient with each other and, respect each other. Yeah.
And remember that, everything that we do comes from a place of love. It's never intended, anything that we do is never intended to hurt anybody. Mm-hmm. It's always intended to help, even in that moment of frustration.
Yeah,
that moment
sometimes
of
you're angry and you say,
but you gotta pause.
Yeah.
Pausing is good.
That's right. You hit that pause button and come back.
Yeah.
You say what you gotta say sometimes, and you'll walk away, and then you come back.
Okay. Take a little space.
Yeah. You gotta breathe. Especially when you have strong personalities.
Hey,
they are strong.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Strong.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's try it. They are strong.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for today. We really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us and share your stories with us and share the inspirations that you shared with our audience. Moms, let's see. Moms, there we go. Thank you. Moms, look, all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. These ladies have been extraordinary today, and we actually take our hats off to 3 generations of Keene women. It's interesting because the last name is Keene, but they're actually Keene women. So we really, really appreciate them joining us today. Now, as we end, first I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of my sisters. And I'm going to call them real quick. Esther, Rachel, Alve, and Dominique. And my Aunt Miriam and Aunt Pat. And then I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my spiritual mother, Pastor Paula Maxwell, to my First Lady, Lady Suzette Spence. There are so many. To my overseer Nia Washington, to my EP, my best buddy, Pastor Madeline Jones, and to my co-host, my buddy, my friend. Thank you, daughter. My friend, Lady Lucretia Wilson, who helps to make this live podcast happen every time we come on. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Happy Mother's Day to Miss Annette, Deana, not you, Joy.
And to you.
Thank you, ladies.
I love
And
you.
so, I have to put this in there because my daughter and Gabrielle Wilson said that they're mothers because they had fur babies. So happy Mother's Day to the fur baby mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you guys too.
And the plant moms.
And
I got plant babies.
and Jordan wants to be a plant mom. So and the plant mom. So we got all the mothers. We covered you all. Happy Mother's Day to all ladies. And I will say, because some people don't say this, but happy Mother's Day to fathers who are standing in the gap. Because we do have fathers who are standing in the gap where there is no mom.
Yeah.
So we say happy Mother's Day to you, and we applaud you for taking on the responsibility and the journey of raising a kid by yourself. With that being said, guys, we have another Mother's Day story coming up next week. The flyer's in there, LA, if you would put it up. Next week we will have Lady Nicole Staton. She'll come on and share her Mother's Day story for us, and she'll share with us her story of being a mom and the journey she has gone through. And then we will be back the last week also. We also have mid-year check-in coming up with Miss Adrienne Holloman. Look, guys, Adrienne is the dream coach. She is for real. Y'all don't even want to know what's going on in the studio because I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to stay focused on what's going on here. Adrienne is the dream coach. She is phenomenal. She is awesome. And if you are still trying to figure it out, you have already, we're heading into June, we're 6 months in, and we've all made goals at the beginning of the year, and we're adding as we go along. You don't understand where you're going, or you just need to plan forward. Just go forward. Hey, sign up for this virtual mid-year check-in with Miss Adrienne Holloman. The details are on our Linus Den page. Check it out. They'll also be on our Linktree page. Just stop in, get the information, and register for this event because what Miss Adrienne has to pour is priceless. Again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for constantly supporting us on the Linus Den channel. We love you guys. Happy Mother's Day, and see you next week. God bless.